Even though the Civil Rights Act passed in 1964, there have been a great amount of times where African Americans are put in situations where they are not safe. This is usually caused by people that are racist, in this case, police officers and other types of law enforcement. They make a decision based on their feelings and opinions, and it has been an ongoing spiral where blacks have been shot or severely injured because there was a cop not okay with the color of their skin. Before the Civil Rights Act was passed, schools, pools, water fountains, neighborhoods, and much more were segregated by skin color. People would speak their minds and say they wanted all white or all black schools. There were signs up that said this is white or black territory. It was like two whole different worlds. When they would act on their opinions, it was most of the time violent, either mentally or physically. People that have been brutally attacked or wrongfully accused because of something they didn't do are not the only ones that are affected. Their moms, siblings, significant others, and children have to deal with their loved ones being either gone or hurt, sometimes for the rest of their lives. A parent that is having to work full-time and take care of their kids is going to have to do it alone because of an act that a police officer committed. When people are wrongfully accused of something that they didn't do, usually the African American is put in jail or ends up with something on their record. Because of this, it is hard to have a house or a job to be able to support yourself and sometimes family. This means moving to a not-so-safe neighborhood and leads to more crime, which causes an ongoing spiral. While most white families don't have to worry about sitting their children down and having a conversation about how to act when a police officer approaches them, that is something that African American parents constantly worry about. They often sit down and have to explain that not all police officers are friendly and their life can be easily put at risk, so it would be best to respect them as much as possible. Most police officers that have committed murders or injuries at a scene have gotten away with it. It has been the case that many times the people only see the bad in the African American citizens. Therefore, the officers get to go on with their lives while the blacks have to spend time in jail, or even worse, dead. This man is Stephen Clark. On March 18th in 2018, the police had been called because someone was crashing through windows. Clark had fit the description, so the police chased him into Clark's grandparents' backyard. One of the police officers claimed that he had a gun, so they shot 20 rounds at him and he was killed. It turned out that all that he had on his body was his phone. The police officers were only faced with paid leave during the investigation. This next man is named Edward Minguella. Like Clark, the police had been called about a suspicious man walking in the streets. Unfortunately, he was in the wrong place at the wrong time. The police officers approached him and beat him to the ground only to find out that he was not the right person. The officers ended up being fined and Minguella was charged with resisting arrest, even though he was wrongfully accused. Most of the time, police will pull over a person and give them a traffic ticket. With some cases, this turns into a full-on situation where the driver needs to get out of the car with both of their hands up. The police officers will have their guns pointed at an African American just because of a speeding ticket. There is a record of them turning these situations into a full-on investigation, where the African American ends up going to jail or being accused of something wrongfully committed. There is a new movie out called The Hate That You Give. It is about an African American family that just wants change from all of the white privilege and racism that is still going on. There is a scene in the movie where in front of his whole family, a black man is being held at gunpoint by a policeman. The main character, Star, yells out, "How many of us have to die before y'all get it?" which really has the audience think about how scary and sad it is. African American citizens are 3 times more likely to be killed by police than white people are. 30% of black victims that were killed due to police brutality in 2015 were unarmed. It is just a fact that the group that these tragedies keep happening to are blacks, and it is because people are not okay with different cultures, looks, and races. We need to realize that this world is filled with all different types of skin color, languages, bodies, beliefs, and much more. Everyone has the right to their own opinion, however, acting violently based on not liking the way someone is or looks is called racial discrimination, which is something that we all need to move past. It is a police officer's job to keep everyone safe, not just the people that they are okay with. There is a movement called Black Lives Matter. The main goal is to reach out to uneducated people or people with their own stories to make sure that it is clear that they are against racism and violence towards black people. The stories and protests get people to understand what African Americans are going through and give the listeners a sad feeling for those who are scared for their lives or have lost a loved one. Body cameras are a technology device that police officers have to wear. However, it is an ongoing problem that during an interaction with a citizen, some officers do not turn their cameras on. This causes an invitation for someone to lie about what happened at a scene. If we have body cameras, we will know the exact stories and there will be no lying. However, we can change this. On May 30th, we should all march down to the Capitol to protest that police officers' body cameras should be on 24/7. This will help people see exactly what happened at a scene. This supports the families that are going through these tragedies and will bring justice to all of those that we have lost over the many years.